Religion and beliefs. In the Middle Ages, religion was an important part of everyday life. In Europe, during the medieval times, the only recognized religion was Christianity. The lives of the medieval people of the Middle Ages was dominated by the church, from birth to death, whether a peasant, a serf, a noble, a lord, or a king. Life was dominated by the church and the medieval religion. For the king, there was no set routine for the day. But as a ruler of the kingdom, they would have plenty of official business to take care of. This can be divided into two categories: affairs of state, which is a present situation, circumstances, or condition, and estate management, which is a property management, surveying, business, finance, and the built environment. Medieval kings spent a lot of time traveling around their realm from places to places, since one of the duty of a vassal was offering hospitality to the king and his entourage, if he chooses to pay a visit, which would get very expensive, since the kings always travel with a large number of guards, ministers, servants, and companions, so there will be people protecting him wherever he goes. If the king had no official business to conduct that day, he might instead go hunting, which it is a very popular pastime. In medieval times, treason was the harshest punishment. People that showed serious disloyalty to the king or queen, betraying the kingdom by providing aid and comfort to the king's enemy, killing or planning to kill the king, his wife, or his heir, violating the king's wife, the king's daughter, and warning against the king. They will get punished with treason. The punishment was often that the victim would then be hanged to within an inch of death, followed by being disemboweled, which is to cut and open, remove all the internal organs of the victim, then burnt and beheaded, which is cut the head of the victim. The remaining carcass was to cut into 4 pieces. The punishment of being hung, drawn, and quartered was morbidly captured by the public's imagination for many centuries.
And decided the punishments for breaking his laws, which was often death. A person sentenced to a less harsh punishment might be placed in the dungeons, which often led to death because of poor living conditions, torture, or deadly diseases. Some kings were very kind to their subjects, giving gifts to them and sharing some of their wealth among them. Other kings were not as kind, charging large amounts of taxes, and made cruel and unfair laws. Kings often allowed lower-class citizens to live on his property, but charged a tax that could be paid in crops or in money. Even though the king was the ruler of the land, he granted different pieces of land to lords who served as the king's representatives. Towns did not have systems of sewers or water pipes like Rome had. They were probably filthy. Garbage and human waste were thrown on the streets. Houses were made of wood, mud, and dung. Rats, lice, and fleas flourished in the rushes strewn over clay floors of people's houses. Monasteries developed comprehensive systems of public health, including fresh running water, washrooms, the flushing system with running sewers, clean towels, and a compulsory bath 4 times a year. Nobles took regular baths. Medieval kings passed laws requiring people to keep the streets clean. Leaders in Venice realized that sexually transmitted diseases were contagious and ordered checks on the city. Some peasants were free and some were serfs. Serfs owed more labor service and could not leave the lord's estate without his permission. The amount of land a peasant held determined his status in the village. A rich serf was a bigger man in the village than a poor free man. If a serf wanted to be free, he might save up and buy his freedom. Also, he could be officially free if he went to live in a town and could avoid being retaken for a year and a day. In many
created using Powtoon.